Hey, all right, quick 5 minutes here. Tell me something good. What do you guys got? We got a lot of people on the call today excited. Something good. I know 34 people here. Somebody's got to have some good news. Don't be shy. Let's go.
We have two more.
I'm driving down the road, Chris.
Organization.
All right. Go ahead. Who go first? Go for it.
Go ahead, Doug.
Go, Linda.
I'm going first? Okay. So sorry I'm driving down the road, but obviously inventory is limited. So this is the first time I'll be back up to 3 or 4 listings in 1 month for the entire at one time for the entire freaking year. So I'm pretty damn excited about that.
That's awesome.
It's been one at a time. It's like it's just every week or every other week, just one. So now all of a sudden we got 2 or 3, maybe even 4. I got a call today, possibly 5 coming up all for this month. So it'll be the first time I did like that many listings in a month all year. So super excited.
Dude, congratulations, Dougie Doug. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, man.
Keep the momentum going. Keep that momentum going. Thanks, Eric, for popping that in there.
Thanks,
go
guys.
for it. Or Linda. Yeah, go ahead, Linda. Go for it.
We just got 2 new people in our organization.
Good morning, everyone. Well,
oh, shoot. All right. Sorry, hold on. Who wants to go first? Vanina or Linda? Whoever wants to go. Go. Go, Linda.
okay,
Go,
I
Linda.
just wanted to introduce Philippe. He's on this call. This morning. And this is the first time he's on the call with us. He's joining. I think he finalized his joint application. He's actually located on Maui. And it's great to have him here. Welcome to the team, Philippe.
Hi, Philippe. How are you, sir? Good to see you. I was glad to call with you today. He's amazing. Love that guy. Awesome. Congratulations, Vanina, by the way. You're making some momentum, too. That's like 3 for you in the last month, right? Yeah. Yes. Be excited about that. All right, Linda, your turn. Go for it. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. We got just 2 new people coming into our organization this week. Very excited about that.
Oh, that's exciting. You get me very excited about that. You guys should be doing cartwheels. 2 new people. Yes. Excited. High five. Let's do this. It's the momentum, right? It's the momentum.
Yeah.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank
All right, anybody else? Sasha, go for it.
I just joined agency. Super excited about that.
All right. Good job. Congratulations. It's good for you.
The team on Oahu is growing, so we're super stoked about that.
Growing. World domination. I'd say island domination. We're going to call it like that, right? I love it. Pretty soon we're going to have an EXP logo in the middle of Waikiki Beach. Not going to lie. It's going to happen. I love it. Anybody else? Something good. Good news. Tara.
Yeah, I've got. Can you guys?
Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there we go, Blake.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Okay, so yeah, we've got a couple of new people coming in as well. And I see one of them had joined us today. So I wanted to welcome Kimberly Lorvig. Welcome, Kimberly.
Kimberly,
to Team Freedom Chicago. And she is still just got her pictures and things done. So we don't have any updates yet, or nothing's been sent out yet, but that's why. So welcome.
Right. Congratulations. And I think officially, Kimberly, you are full-time now, right? Last week you announced you were going to go full-time. So here we go.
Yeah, she's been on a few of the calls before, but finally official. Thank you.
Nice.
Welcome, Kimberly.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you full-time. Glad to have you here. Anything you need. Awesome. All right. Somebody else said something or was going to say something. Who was it?
Chris, it's Tara.
Go for it, Tara.
Hey guys, remember last week I told you guys I did the homebuyer workshop, and so that was 2 weeks ago. Last week I showed 6 homes. Today they accepted one of our offers, and I'm super pumped because in the area that I wrote this offer in, there are only 8 homes under $1 million, and so it was a huge win for me because the buyers are teachers that live in teacher housing right now, and it's so like it makes me feel so good to help people in the community that are, serving the community to stay in the community. And so I just wanted to share that. Such a huge win.
I love it. That is amazing. Congratulations. Good job. And just from doing the workshops, something simple as doing a workshop. It wasn't extravagantly over the top crazy. A lot of mind, like you just created a workshop and it works. So does anything work? Absolutely. And you do, how often do you host those, Tara?
Well, I did 3 last month, and then I'm going to do 1 this month, hopefully one more. I'm kind of shooting for at least 1 or 2 a month,
Okay.
but you know, whenever I can do them whenever, so they work.
I love it. Maybe one of these weeks we can put you on a call and have you kind of lay out your format so those that maybe want to copy and rip off and duplicate, because it works.
Sure.
Obviously it works. Awesome. Congratulations. What's up, Jen Davis? Go for it.
Hi, I just wanted to shout out Tara. I was in the hair salon last week, and sitting across from me was somebody talking about real estate. Obviously, my ears go up. And so I start chatting with her, and I said, "Oh, have you heard about this loan? Da, da, da." She said, "I just did Tara's workshop, and we're just so inspired. Like, we just think we can do this now." And so I called Tara and told her what I chatted with this woman about. And so I just wanted to shout out to Tara based on what she said. It is absolutely amazing what she's doing out there, inspiring people and like getting it done. So props out there, Tara.
I love it. Thank you, Jen, for that. And Tara, yes, super excited for you. Do what you do. And again, everybody, I feel like at this point, there's zero excuses why we cannot succeed, especially when you come from a place like Tara, where she wants to truly, generally want to help people. Now, everyone is called the same way, right? Come from contribution, servitude, wanting to help others become the better version of themselves, whatever it is that we do. If you start from that place, I promise you good things will happen. You got to come from that place of truly coming for contribution, like you totally want to help people. That's the kicker, right? Help others get what they want, get and achieve in life, and you ultimately get what you want. That's a true testament of that. Awesome. Thank you for that, Jen. All right, couple days before we jump in here. Book of the month. For those who haven't got, you can't see it right. Yeah, Bill Nix for the 10X is easier than 2X. I just got my book yesterday. I read through about 15, 20 pages already. Just the introduction's pretty deep. So it's pretty crazy. Last month's book, actually by the same author, right? The Gap in the Gain, Dan Sullivan and Dr. Brady. Great read. Again, if you hadn't read The Gap in the Gain, my God, mind-blowing. I started reading it because I finished earlier last month, the book. So I started reading it again before the end of the month came. And I was halfway through it again, and already halfway through the book, started blowing my mind with new tips of things I read earlier. It just made more sense to me the second time around. I truly lived a lot of my life in the gap, like most of us on this call probably, in the gap. And I didn't catch that until I started really articulating, seeing some of the characteristics that came in this book. And you start to realize, oh my God, I'm living in the gap too. I need to shift my mind and start living in the game. So many of us, we all got stories, right? Each and every one of us on this call has a story. And that story comes with a product of our environment. We grew up and we literally live in the gap. So get this book if you haven't got it either, The Gap in the Gain. But this month is the 10X is easier than 2X. It is in the Google Classroom. It's there. So get on the books. I'm telling you right now, get on the books. If you can't do anything, get on the books. I say it every week. I love book reading. It's the most powerful thing I've ever done. That doesn't cost anything but my time. So I promise you will not regret this. All right, moving forward. We are here today. Obviously, got a full crowd. Love it. 40 people. It's great. We're here for Shon Kokoszka, who, for those who don't know Shon's background, the guy is a legend, literally a legend. I mean, almost in the industry for over 30 years. He created the CAPS, the KW MAPS coaching, the training program over there. If you guys aren't familiar with that, it was the #1 rated training coaching program in the country, in the world. I don't know if it still is. Don't know, but I know when I was at Keller Williams, it was phenomenal. Did a lot of training there. He helped with the One Thing. If you guys have read the book One Thing, he helped a lot of the stuff for the tutorials and that training module as well. So he's done it all. And now you're part of a thing called Icon Coaching, I think, Shon, now that he's created. He's also, I believe, at EXP with us too. But we call him the billionaire agent because he's closed over 4,000 units in his career. I think he ranked the top 100, right, worldwide for Keller Williams and RE/MAX. So he's got an amazing resume. And nonetheless, he's just a great speaker, motivational coach, trainer, all in one, inclusive. So if you want to plug in and learn something today, you better take notes because this man's going to lay it out for you and fire it out. So Shon, thank you. I know you're super busy and you moved some things around for us today to make this happen. So, and Ronnie, I believe, thank you for making that happen for us too. Ronnie, thanks for putting that together because he's coaching with Shon right now. So Shon, the stage is yours, my friend, and thank you so much.
Well, Chris, it's my pleasure to be here. And thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you guys for setting this up. It's just amazing. So, you know, I really showed up today without an agenda. I really want to talk about what's really happening in the real estate market. I want you to recognize that I see you, I see where you're at, and I see the struggles you're going through because, guys, the struggles are real. They are real right now. I mean, you think about this inventory and what's going on with the inventory, the rise of the interest rates by the Fed. They're trying to slow down this inflation. And what it's doing is it's taking money out of our pockets because there are fewer transactions month after month, year over year. And we all get that. And yet, I will tell you, the people who really succeed in a market like today, and I've been through 3 ups and downs, guys. I've been doing this for 32 years, okay? I went through the market of the tech bubble burst in 99. I went through the total colossal BS from 2008. And by the way, lost about $32 million in that part of the market and almost lost my mind. Frankly, I almost lost my life because I just didn't want to be here anymore, and yet figured it out. And yes, this shift in the market is challenging, no doubt about that. Yet I've got some advice for you. See, I coach some of the top producing agents, teams, brokerages around the world. I have the pleasure of coaching with Ronnie Margolis. In fact, we got a coaching session here later today, Ronnie. I can't wait to just get back on the Zoom meeting with you and focus on your business. And at the same time, I mean, people like Mark Spain, I brought him from 100 transactions per year to hear this. Last year closed 8,800 transactions. Chris Waters, another one of my clients here. Now he came to me a little bit later. He was closing about 1,100 transactions per year. Yet last year, 5,600 transactions, you guys. And it's possible. It all starts with your definition of the word success. That's where it all starts. Now, I want a few of you to unmute yourself. Like Linda, you're so kind to have your camera on, you and your husband there. Thank you. Because here's what I know. When you have your camera on, you show up at a much higher level than if your camera is off. In fact, if you're in a position, if you're not driving or heaven forbid in the bathroom right now, go ahead and turn on your camera because you're going to show up at a much higher level. So Linda, let me hear your definition of that word success. How do you define it? Good job. Thank you.
Constant improvement.
Constant improvement.
Once you improve from the previous point you're succeeding.
Never ending constant improvement. I love it. Yeah. All right. And you've all heard the term CANI, right? CANEI, constant and never ending improvement. Is that what you said? It broke up a little bit there. And I don't want to call you Linda, but that's the only name on your screen.
Robert.
So, Robert. I love it. Somebody else, give me your definition of the word success.
Having what you want.
I love it, Cindy. That was good. Having what you want, getting what you want. That's powerful. Blake, how about you? You turned your camera on for us. Thank you for doing that. What's your definition?
For me right now, it's been great health.
Great health. Congratulations. I love that. That's part of the 7 key areas of life. There's no doubt about that. In fact, if we don't take care of our bodies, guys, where are we going to live? And by the way, replacement parts are really hard to find and they're very, very expensive. They're very expensive. So taking care of your health, Blake, that's powerful. And now here's the thing, guys, if we had the time and you took the time, you asked 1,000 different people what their definition of that word success is, you'd end up with around 1,000 different definitions. Is that fair? So to me, it's a little bit confusing. It's really hard to get your arms around success. I mean, how do I know if I'm a success? So if you go to Webster's dictionary, Cindy nailed it, by the way. The definition is really simple. It's getting what you want. That's the definition of the word. It's not what I think you should want or what Chris thinks you should want. It's getting what you want at the end of the day. It's sadly, a lot of people, they take an average approach to identifying what they want. And even worse, they take an average approach on how they're going to get it. So that's not today's call. We're not going to take an average approach. We're going to have a lot of fun together. No doubt about that. In fact, I would encourage each of you to complete an exercise that we wrote about in the book, The One Thing. So as Chris had mentioned, I had the pleasure of collaborating with Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, in the writing of The One Thing. Over 8 million copies sold, and they're still going. It's a great book. It's a great read. And yet a common misconception of the book is that, it's just one thing. That's it. Just one. No, it's one thing at a time. And I want you to get this. See, how many of you have ever experienced that feeling, that gut-wrenching feeling of not having enough time to get everything done in a day? Anybody ever experienced that other than me? Well, 100%. Yeah. Well, and what the book teaches us is that it's not that we have too many things to do. It's that we choose to do too many things. We fail, in essence, in life to apply leverage. Now, in the United States today, we live a very privileged life. I think you would all agree with that. We live a highly leveraged life in the US today. Like, for example, how many of you guys wearing shoes right now? Anyone? How about shirts? Anyone wearing a shirt? I hope you're wearing your shirt. Okay, maybe that's why your camera is not on. Yeah, did you make that shirt? Of course you didn't. No, you paid a company who paid somebody who probably paid somebody to make that shirt. It's about applying that type of thinking to your business strategy. Guys, I want you to write down 3 powerful words that have served me incredibly well over the course of my 32 years in this industry. Those 3 words are who, not you. Who, not you. Who can do that for you? See, your job as a leader, and we're all leaders in our own right. And I want to talk a little bit about leadership today, yet we are all leaders. So just step into that. If you don't believe you're a leader, just think about it. You lead yourself to production every day. You lead your family members to make really great life decisions. You lead your clients and prospects to making great decisions to increase their net worth through real estate investment or purchasing their home or selling their home, whatever that might look like, right? So we are all leaders in our own right. There's no doubt about that. Y'all agree? Just say it. I'm a leader. You're a leader. Just step into that, okay? Now, leadership is influence, guys. It's nothing more, it's nothing less. We are all leaders, okay? Yeah, we as leaders, we approach our business, we approach our strategy asking 3 basic questions. Number 1 is, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, how many transactions am I gonna close this year? What's my sales volume? What's my gross commission income? We all talk about that. How many agents am I gonna attract to join EXP? What is my revenue share group going to look like? What is my revenue share? What are those monthly deposits? What is that going to look like? And that's all good and fine, yet what am I going to do? That's the first question we generally ask ourselves. Next question is, how am I going to do it? And sadly, we kind of forget about the why. Why are we doing this? See, if your why doesn't make you cry, guys, you haven't gone deep enough with it. The why is what's going to give you the fuel in your tank to get across the finish line. And by the way, with the right why, with the right white heat intensity that is caused by that why, well, then you'll get across the finish line first, every single time. You're going to win that race. There's no doubt about that. So understanding the why first. Now, when the why is powerful enough, the how, it simply shows up. I want you to hear that. When the why is powerful enough, the how, it simply shows up. Let me articulate an example for you. Let's say I had a board that's 500 feet long. It's 5 times the width of a normal balance beam, and it's thick enough to support your weight. And I'm at one end, and I say, listen, I'm going to give you $10,000. All you have to do is walk across this board that's 6 inches up off the ground. Don't fall off either side. I'll give you 10 grand. I got a stack of $100 bills sitting here. Each one of you would line up to walk across that board. Yeah, you take the same board and you put it from one 20-story building rooftop to another 20-story building rooftop. I'm on one building and you're on the other. I'm going to give you 10 grand. All you have to do is walk across it. Don't fall off either side. How many of you guys would take that risk? Yeah, it's windy. If you're thinking about it, it's windy, it's raining, there's lightning everywhere. Of course you wouldn't do that. Yet again, change the circumstance. You're on one building, you're all alone, nobody else around. And on the rooftop of the other building is your 2-year-old child. Maybe it's your niece, your nephew, your grandson or granddaughter. And that building's on fire. How many of you wouldn't even think about it? You'd figure out how to get across that board somehow, some way to save that little baby. Of course we would. When the why is powerful enough, the how shows up. So guys, if the why doesn't make you cry, you just haven't gone deep enough with that. Let me tell you about my why. I was in Denver, Colorado, selling real estate, having a great time. I was picked up by several companies like iReal, iSucceed.com, Howard Brinton Seminars, NAR. I mean, I was traveling. Once I built my team to the point of what we called 7th level, where I stepped out of production. I didn't need to go on listing presentations anymore, work with buyers anymore. I'd successfully leveraged models, systems, technology, and people. I was able to step out of the business, and then it became like, well, what do you want to do? So I started the mortgage company, the title company. I started a land development company, a home building company. Gang, it was 6 income streams on one transaction. And I made millions of dollars per month. I was also traveling, speaking, presenting to realtors. I've got my 10,000 plus hours on that stage, I'll tell you that. And yet there was no real why, other than feed Shon's ego. And that's disgusting. How many of you guys know somebody with a really big ego? Anyone? Yeah, see, ego to me is an acronym. It stands for edging God out or eliminating growth opportunity. And I was in that position. I truly was. Forgive my language. I was an asshole. I truly was. And yet I was succeeding at a very high level. I was getting what I wanted with no purpose behind it. And then, God came along and helped me be humble. See, when your ego gets out of control, the world will figure out how to humble you somehow, some way. 2008 came. Guys, I had 16 land developments. I had over 1,000 lots. I had over 100 homes under construction, every one of them above $1 million because I was a custom luxury builder. I had my mortgage company, my title company, my real estate sales team was crushing it, man. We were doing 450 deals a year. And then everything turned on a dime. It was short sale after short sale. It was deeds in lieu of foreclosure. It was painful, to say the least. I became the biggest victim on the face of this planet. I started blaming everybody else. I started complaining about my circumstance. I started justifying all the decisions that I made. And that's the 3 easy ways to spot a victim. They blame, they complain, they justify. How many of you guys know somebody who complains all the time? Anyone know somebody like that? Let me ask, is their life awesome? Or is it just full of shit? It's full of shit. And why? And they say, well, of course I complain. Shon, look at all this crap I have in my life. Well, they complain about the crap. Therefore, what do they get more of? Crap. Okay? What we focus on expands. And so I want to talk more about mindset today than anything else. I mean, when we recognize that when we start focusing on positive things, then everything in our life becomes more positive. If you're not satisfied where your business is today, or your revenue share group isn't where it is today, where it should be today, I want you to think about what you were doing 90 days ago. I want you to think about where your focus was, because what you focus on expands. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So going back to that really tough time in my life back in 2008, and by the way, it lasted till 2012. I mean, it was digging out of a big time hole, okay? I was in debt to the construction lenders, about $132 million. And it was rough. I was adding up my life insurance policies, wondering, would my wife and 2 kids at the time, we've had a 3rd since, yet would they be okay if I weren't here? And during those moments of depression, of just sadness, of just, and some of you are there right now. I get that. I've been there. Yet during those lowest of lows, we have the biggest opportunity for growth. And so through, prayer, through meditation, through just kind of self-evaluation, I came up with my why. I looked back at my life and said, where did I find the most joy? Where did I find the most passion? Where did I help others the most? And it was presenting. It was helping agents learn new strategies and tactics that were going to help them grow their production, to change their trajectory in life. And that's what I felt that I was here for. That's the thing that saved me. So frankly, this sounds cliche, but the reason I'm still here and the reason I'm even on this call is because of you. You are my reason. You are my why. Your success is my why. And so as a direct result, after going through that nonsense and getting out by the skin of my teeth, I connected with a guy named Gary Keller. Now, to me, he's one of the smartest guys in real estate. He's also one of the most shrewd businessmen you'll ever meet in your life. Yet at the same time, I connected with Gary Keller. He called me. He knew about my level of production, what I was doing, how is doing it and asked me, hey, are you open to new opportunities? I said, well, I only listen to smart guys. And Gary, you're a pretty smart guy. So what do you have to say? He flew me down to Austin. We talked about starting Keller Williams MAPS coaching. And I was able to fulfill that why at a very high level. In fact, we were the largest coaching and training company real estate has ever seen. We wrote the BOLD coaching program, the BOLD training program. Guys, that's over 700,000 graduates worldwide. It has impacted so many lives, with the average person going through that 7-week program closing 14.2 transactions, including buyer agencies, listing contracts, and buy-sell agreements. The results are there. So I was able to fulfill that why. Yet without the why, without the purpose, guys, none of that would have happened. I want you to understand that. You need a why. And if you don't understand what that is, just go deep with it, seriously. Like I said earlier, if the why doesn't make you cry, you have not gone deep enough, okay? I mean, as I tried to tell that story, I got a huge tennis ball in my throat. It was really hard to swallow there for a half a second, but yeah, logic makes us think and emotion makes us act. So Chris, tell me, do we want to talk more about attraction today? Do we want to talk more about building their business today? Tell me, what do you want to cover today? Because I can go a million different directions. Let's hear it. And let's hear from the group. What do you guys want to hear?
The group is highway, because I think we got a little under a half hour. I'd say we've got a mix of here. Obviously, people that are looking for production too, and ideas, tips and tricks, ideas that you can coach along. I love your mindset piece. That is my thing. But then attraction, again, is the huge part with the EXP as well. So I don't know if we could combine the two, or I'm up to you guys. Chime in, you guys. What do you guys want? Attraction or production?
Both.
Yeah. We want it all.
By the way, we're given an alternative choice. Just choose both. It just makes sense,
right? We want it all.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a model that applies to both sales and attraction, okay? In fact, get your pen and paper ready if you've got it. And by the way, if you're not showing it this with Chris without a pen and paper, come on. What are you thinking? What are you doing? I want you to write this down. I want you to build this model with me. In essence, I want you to draw a pyramid, okay? Make it as big as you can on your page. And then I want you to draw 4 horizontal lines through the pyramid to create 5 sections to the pyramid, okay? Now, at the base of this pyramid, I want you to write in one word. It's foundation. And foundation is so critically important, you guys. With the right foundation, you can build your business as big as you want to build it. Yet, there are 4 categories to foundation, okay? Number 1, and I want you to write these things down too. Just do it out in the margin. Okay, number 1, knowledge. You got to know what to do. You got to know what to say. Second category of foundation, it's your skills. You got to know how to do it. You got to know how to say it. By the way, with mere words in real estate sales or attraction for EXP, guys, with mere words, you can make millions of dollars a month knowing what to say, knowing how to say it. Okay, third is and by the way, this is a kind of a natural byproduct of focusing on the first 2 things, knowledge, skills, that impacts your mindset. So your mindset is improved when you improve your competence. It leads to a higher level of confidence, and you'll have that mindset to call that top producing agent to get them to come over to EXP. You'll have the mindset to call a first sale by owner to get them to list with you. And that's the idea, right? So knowledge, skills, mindset, and then finally it's habits. Habits. Now, the fourth to me is probably the most important, because have you ever heard a quote in your life where you're just like, man, that resonates with me. I totally get that. And it changes your outlook in life. Have you ever had that happen where you just heard something that someone said and you learned from it? So there's a guy, F.M. Alexander. He said this. He said, people do not decide their future. They decide their habits. And their habits decide their future. That changed my world in such a significant way. Now, how many of you guys have heard that phrase, it takes 21 days to form a habit? Anybody ever heard that before? Yeah, I heard that too. So I would apply discipline at first because it's not a habit, it's an action, it's a discipline. I would apply discipline for 3 weeks and it didn't stick. It wasn't a habit. And I thought, what am I doing wrong? So then in writing The One Thing, we uncovered the research by a gal named Megan Oaten out of the University College of London in Australia. And her research suggests that it takes an average of 66 days to form a habit. So 21 days, guys, is less than a third of the time required to sustain the activity. So here's my input, and here's what I do with my coaching clients is that we help them identify what are the actions that are worth building habits around. I mean, seriously, what are those activities that you can do on a consistent and repetitive basis to apply discipline for 66 days to the point that it becomes a habit? See, people don't decide their future, they decide their habits. And are you choosing good habits? Where do most people form habits? Is it consciously or subconsciously? Of course, it's subconsciously. I mean, when we bring conscious awareness to the activities that are worth building habits around, and we focus on building those right habits, then everything in our life changes. Your real estate production increases, your agent attraction increases, no doubt about that. So as we go up this model toward mastery, and I'm going to just digress. I want to share with you my favorite story. It's the biggest epiphany I've had in my life. I was really fortunate to get this at such an early age. I was 17 years old. Now, a little backstory. My wife and I met in the 7th grade. We started dating when we were 16, married at 21, had our first child at 28. Now we have 3 beautiful kids. And this month we're celebrating 32 years of marriage, okay? Yeah, she deserves that. Thank you. So we're 17. It's a Friday night. We're going to go see a movie. And I agreed I would drive. We're going to pick up her older sister, 4 years older than us, her sister's new boyfriend. I never met this guy before. And again, bear with me if you've heard the story before because I tell it a lot. I love this story. Greatest epiphany of my life. So I pull up to the house to pick them up. And this guy comes in the house. And I got to tell you, this dude was freaking built, man. He had like biceps the size of my thighs. I mean, he's 7% body fat, like totally ripped, shredded. He's a bodybuilder and he was training for his next competition. Now, guys, I'm 17 years old. I want to look like this guy. So I get to know him a little bit. His name's Paul. I said, hey, Paul, how often do you go to the gym? He said, well, every day. I said, every day? Seriously? Even Sundays? He said, oh, yeah. I said, well, how long's your workout? He said, well, at least 2 hours every day, sometimes longer. I said, Paul, are you, wow, 2 hours every day? Are you shitting me? How do you do that? I'm 17 years old, trying to get to the gym 2-3 times a week. And here you are working out every day. How do you do it? And this was the epiphany, guys. And I want you to hear this. I want it to resonate with you. He said, Shon, it's just something I do. Like it's no big deal. You guys with me? It's just something I do. See, that stuck with me in such a powerful way. This is who Paul is. This is what Paul does. And Paul gets to look the way Paul looks because he's taken an activity, brought it to the point of what I now call automaticity, going to the gym 2 hours every day. So how about you? I mean, how about your business? How about your attraction? I mean, what if you showed up every day to work? Whether you work from home, you work in an office, I don't care. Yet when you choose to invest your time into your work life, that this activity becomes something you just do. What is that for you? And by the way, there's 10,000 different ways to be successful in real estate sales and agent attraction. It's just identifying rather than what you could do, narrowing it down to what you should do. And that's really more about what the one thing's about. And again, it's not just one thing, it's one thing at a time. So identifying action, forming habit around the action, critically important. So as we move up this model toward mastery, the next phase is pipeline. Pipeline. Now this both applies to your attraction and your sales performance. So what are you doing specifically to generate leads? This is where I want you to focus in on action to form habit, okay? What are you doing for lead follow-up and conversion? I mean, is it your open house strategy? Are you circle prospecting? Are you door knocking? Are you calling FSBOs, expired listings? Are you working your sphere of influence? And have you implemented what I call the 36 touch campaign to really position yourself in their mind? That's all part of the pipeline phase. This is also lead conversion. This is, by the way, I wrote a program called Accelerated Breakthrough. Now, I wrote that specifically to compete with the BOLD training program at Keller Williams, and we've had tens of thousands of graduates of the program. They're all just crushing it, or if they're willing to do the work, I should say, they're crushing it, okay? It's 16 weeks of coaching and training where I'm covering everything that we covered in BOLD and those things we did not cover, things like neurolinguistic programming and social media marketing, and all of those things are all baked into this really cool platform called Accelerated Breakthrough. It's 1 hour per week. I'm not here to give you a commercial. I'm not here to sell you on anything. What I did want to say is that in session 2, we dive into our 7-step formula to lead conversion conversation, guys, that with tens of thousands of leads analyzed, you will double, triple conversion, quadruple your conversion rate as it relates to your real estate sales practice when you leverage the scripting that we've developed. I worked with Mark Spain's team. In fact, I want to tell a different story. I want to talk about Lance Logan. He's one of my clients. He's with KW. Last year, they did like 4,200 deals, right? And yet, we made a decision in January of 2020 that they were going to, the ISA team, the buyer agent team, the listing specialist team, they were going to invest 1 hour of practice per day. 1 hour of practice per day in a group format to enhance their knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits. That's the 4 quadrants of foundation. Now, the bottom line is your business, your production, your net worth, your net income gain, it's going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. So we made the decision, 1 hour a day. Now, what we do in business today does not show up tomorrow. It generally shows up about 90 days later. Y'all with me on that? Yes? So we made the decision, invested that 1 hour per day. And let me tell you what happened in April. They had the highest appointment set month in the history of their organization. And it wasn't by just a small margin. It was by a major margin. In May, now, by the way, they were closing on average, geez, I'm going to test my memory now. We're going back several years. Shoot. They were closing about 75 transactions a month, I guess at that point, 75, 80, right in there. Yet I do know the number from May. They closed 242 transactions in the month of May during a pandemic. Guys, why? It's because they started focusing on knowledge, skills, mindset, and habits. They strengthened the foundation. With the right foundation, you can build your business as big as you want to build it. So what I want to do is help you increase the strength, the depth, the width, the amount of steel within that foundation, because that makes the pipeline phase so much easier. Now, with tenacity from pipeline, you're going to jump to the next level, which is momentum. So go ahead and write that in on your little diagram, right? It's momentum. Now, momentum is one of my favorite words. To me, it's the biggest magnifier. Meaning, when you lack momentum, you don't look so good. Yet when you possess momentum, you look 10 times better than you actually are. Now, if you take a locomotive with a couple of cars behind it, it's traveling 55 miles an hour. Let's a 6-foot wall of concrete that's reinforced by steel. Guys, it'll keep going. Yet you take the same locomotive in a stationary position and you take a 2-inch block and you put it under one of the wheels, it can't get going at all. See, our goal is to get to this position of momentum. It's a great place to be. So I want to help you identify those blocks. I want to help you remove those blocks so you can get you and your business to the position of momentum. Now, once we're at momentum, it's a really fun place to be. It's also a terrifying place to be. And let me tell you why. It's because a lot of agents that get to momentum, what they end up doing is they start focusing on what I call the 80% work. It's all the things that need to be done, but it doesn't move the needle for your production. And I'm referencing Pareto's principle here. It's the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of your actions in real estate sales will yield 80% of your results. And yet most agents give 99% of their time to the 80% stuff and just 1% of their time to the 20% stuff. And there are 5 things on that simple job description of the 20% agent, okay? It's number 1 is practice. All right, guys, let's agree that practice is not something we did, it's something we do. If we think that we've learned it all, if we think we know what to say and how to say it, let me just tell you, there's a better way to say it. There's a better way to influence and persuade people, okay? So practice is something we do, not something we did. Second is lead generation. And without lead generation, where are you going to be in 3 years or 3 months for that matter, or 60 days? So number 3 is lead follow-up and conversion. Number 4 is the natural byproducts, going on appointments. Number 5 is it's negotiating contracts. And guys, those are the only 5 things that are going to increase your level of income in real estate sales. Yet, what are you doing besides that? You're doing all kinds of silly things that, yeah, sure, they need to be done. Do you need to do it? So this is the part, once you get to momentum, rather than the next month fall backward in this model back down to pipeline and foundation. And by the way, this is an and model. It's not an either or, meaning you're not in foundation alone, okay? You're not in pipeline alone. A lot of people think they get to momentum and I've arrived. So I'm in momentum. No, you're not just in it. See, foundation and pipeline are not rungs of the ladder you leave behind. No, it's an add-on, okay? So you're always in foundation. You're always in pipeline. And you just simply add on momentum. I trust this resonates with you. I hope it makes sense, because if you get to momentum and think you've arrived, what happens the next month? You're going backward. You're going to fall back down to pipeline just to work hard to get back to momentum. And then what happens the next month? You fall backward. And this is that roller coaster of just emotion and anger and stress and worry and anxiety and all of those things that nobody wants. So rather, you're in foundation daily, you're in pipeline daily, you simply add on momentum. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal. In fact, when you get to momentum, now is the time to mash your frickin' foot down on the gas pedal. To like literally staple it there if you have to. Because, okay, I'm getting on my soapbox and I apologize, but I'm just so passionate about your success. So once we get to momentum, it's imperative that you go to the next phase of the model as quickly as you can. And it's called leverage. Leverage. And leverage is the key. See, we all have a natural ceiling of production. We do. A natural ceiling of achievement that for most agents, that's between 30 and 50 transactions per year. And you're like, well, Shon, I'm not at 30, I'm not at 50. That's okay. You're going to get there, okay? And yet most people come to me for coaching, like Ronnie Margolis, who's on this call with us today. He came to me at about that level. It's like, I can't work with another buyer. I can't take another listing because I cannot create another hour in the day. And we all get that. So the only thing that's going to set you free, the only thing that's going to bring you beyond that natural ceiling of achievement, is leverage. And yet to understand leverage, many agents don't. That's why they're with Coldwell Banker or Sotheby's or Compass. They're being freaking leveraged, man, instead of applying leverage. So with that said, there are 4 categories of leverage. I want you to write this down. It's models, systems, technology, and people. So models, your economic model. In essence, your budget. Are you working a budget? Are you a good steward of money? Your lead generation models, are they consistent? Your lead conversion model, is it working? your compensation models, if you choose to leverage through people. All of these things, they add up, they matter. Okay, systems. Now, a system to me is a standardized process that produces a consistent and predictable result. That's it. You do it the same way every single time to get a consistent result in your business practice. This applies both to real estate sales and agent attraction. From systems, it's about technology. See, leveraging through technology, you guys, is one of the best things you can do. Yet most agents, they know 2 or 3 or 5% of the CRM's capability. They don't know how to use it. So invest the time. In fact, if you're on KV Core, and many of you are, I'd encourage you to go to kvcorebootcamp.com. Shannon Pyatt, he's a good friend of mine. In fact, he's one of my clients. I coach Shannon. He's an amazing guy. And while there's nothing in it for me, I believe in his KV Core Bootcamp training. See, the best CRM on the face of the planet for realtors is the one they know how to use. You know that, right? I don't care if you're on KV Core, if you're on Sync or Boomtown, or what are you using, as long as you're using it and you understand how to use it, that's going to make all the difference in the world. Now, the fourth category of leverage is through people. So people. And let me tell you, you are one key hire away from blowing up your real estate business in a big time way. In fact, if it isn't where it could be or should be, you're missing one person. And there's always one person. Trust me, we did all the research in writing the one thing. You think about Walt Disney, he'd be nowhere without his brother Roy. Think about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, he didn't build anything. I mean, great influencer, great leader of people, yet at the same time, if it wasn't for Wozniak, Jobs would not have been what he is today, or was, sorry. He's since passed on, as we all know. Yet, that was really a bad joke. Apologies. Too soon? Maybe too soon. So, models, systems, technology, and people. Guys, that's what it's all about. When you can build that, and by the way, get a great coach. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without my coaches. And many of the people that I coach to extraordinary success, they wouldn't be where they're at today without a great coach. So just do yourself a favor. Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a friend. By the way, don't go after a family member. Many of you know my mother, Shon Kokoszka. She is a living legend in this industry, like a legend. By the way, she wrote a book, and it's coming out in November. You can pre-order it at Amazon. It's called Becoming More. And you guys have read it. I'm part of her pre-reader group, right? Unbelievable. This book will change. This will change your mindset. It'll change your attitude. It is so good. So good. So check that out. So final category of this model is mastery. That's at the pinnacle. And yet Malcolm Gladwell tells us it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. So are you willing to put in the time? As I think of that, I think of what I call an icon maxim. And I've got a series of these statements, right? And yet one of my favorites is dream believer or dream buyer. And you choose. Now, it's often misunderstood, so let me tell you what I mean by that. Dream believers, gang, they are always in abundance. Everyone you know has a dream. Yet dream buyers are rare. They're really rare. They're hard to find. And every dream you have, every dream I have, it comes with a price tag. And are you willing to pay the price to obtain the dream? Think about what is the price tag for you to build your agent attraction? Now, from my perspective, and I coach a lot of people on this, it's 5 conversations a day. That's it. Just 5 conversations a day. And if you're willing to create 5 live conversations per day, see, I believe Pareto's principle, it applies to everything in life. To me, I believe it like I believe in the law of gravity. Like, have you ever met anybody who doesn't believe in the law of gravity? They're probably no longer with us, by the way. But nevertheless, 80-20 rule. You create 5 conversations a day, you're going to get one person at least to say, yes, I'm open-minded to investigate EXP. You do that 5 days a week, you're going to get 5 people who say, yes, I want to investigate EXP. Out of the 5 people who say yes, 80-20 rule, 20% of 5 people, at least one person per week is going to join you. And that's the habit that I'm talking about, right? That's the activity that's worth building a habit around. In fact, 5 conversations a day, guys. Just write it down. 5 conversations a day. You say, well, Shon, I don't know who to call. Just open up MLS and see who took a listing in the last 24 hours. Geez, just call them. Congratulations on your listing. Oh, by the way, I made the decision 3.5 years ago to shift to EXP. And I got to tell you, it has changed my life in such a powerful way. Financially, I'm speaking. They're paying me almost $100,000 a month because of their model. Let me ask, have you actually sat down? Have you taken the time to investigate EXP as it relates to your production, your lead generation, your stock portfolio, and most importantly, your ability to retire from real estate sales? Because this is life changing. Have you actually sat down and taken the time? No, you haven't? Well, let me tell you, EXP is creating more multimillionaires in the history of real estate sales. In fact, they're the fastest growing brokerage in the history of real estate. While everybody else is shrinking, EXP is growing. Let's do this. Let's simply set an appointment. I'm going to articulate the 8 different ways that we compensate agents here at EXP. I'm going to show you how to increase your net income, your net worth, your stock portfolio, and more importantly, I'm going to give you a step-by-step plan. When you apply this, you could literally retire in the next 3 to 5 years if you choose to. So tell me, when is the best time for you and I to get together? Is it weekdays or weekends? Guys, it's really simple. And I know we're at the end of our time. So I could keep going for the next 5 or 6 hours with you guys, easy. Maybe the next 2 weeks, I don't know. But I trust that each one of you has picked up something that's going to help you increase your production in real estate sales and or attract that next agent. And while I had so many other things I wanted to talk about as it relates to agent attraction, because I've done a lot of research around the psychology of this and I've applied it and it definitely works, I didn't have time today. So we got a couple of programs launching. And if you want to check it out, like Attraction in Action is actually launching tomorrow. So if you want to learn the scripts, dialogues, objection handlers, the mindset, the business planning methodology, the social media, if you want to learn about that, sorry, I just hit something on my monitor. There we go. Oh, I'm back. If you want to learn about that, just simply go to iconcoaching.com, click on programs, check out Attraction in Action. That page is going to tell you everything that we talk about. There's several videos, so many testimonies and social proof that this program works. I would just encourage you, go there, iconcoaching.com. And I hope, Chris, it's okay that I kind of put people that direction. I'm not here to sell anything, you guys. EXP pays me so much money, I don't need it. Yet at the same time, I love to help people. It goes back to my why. And if you want some help, then we're here for you. Right on. Chris, it's 2 o'clock, my time.
Yeah, totally. I appreciate Shon. Amazing. I love it, everybody. I got tons of notes, man. I wrote tons of notes myself. Again, I love it. And, this is stuff that gets reiterated probably a lot, right? Remember, we hear those things, different functions you'll hear, but it's like, it's timely. It's like the right time. You hear something at the right time and it shifts your mind, makes you think. So thank you, Shon, for those interactions and pieces. Appreciate you taking the time out today. This is going to be recorded again, obviously, every week. So it'll be on the Team Freedom YouTube page. So you guys can go back and reference to it. And yes, go on to Shon's icon page. There's a lot of stuff there for the agent attraction piece or just coaching. So yeah, thank you, Shon. I appreciate you so much. And again, go to EXP Convention, go to EXP Shareholders, go to Build. You'll see Shon there. You can sit there and have coffee with Shon. So these kind of things.
That would be so good.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Shon.
Have a great
You're awesome.
week. Love you guys.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Shon.
Yep.
Thank you
See
for
you
your
later.
energy. Thank you for letting me live my why, guys.
Absolutely.
All righty.
Thanks for sharing your why. Appreciate it.
Guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a great week. And I see you on Thursday. EXP Explained.
Thanks, Chris.
Nick, have a good day.